Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Ashtaprayasva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so we are reading about Vrtrasura, Canto 6, Chapter 9, verse 46. Vishikadeva Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, when the demigods offered the Lord their sincere prayers in this way, the Lord listened by his causeless mercy. Being pleased, he then replied to the demigods. So this is very, very nice. So the demigods, like I said, even though they are Mishra Bhaktas, but they are very sincere. So they offered sincere prayers. And the Lord listened and he was pleased. And by his causeless mercy means he doesn't have to listen. It's not that he will listen if we say, Krishna, please listen to me. No, it's his causeless mercy. Meaning there is no necessary cause for Krishna to do something, to give his mercy. So we cannot say, I've done so much of devotional service, so Krishna, give me Krishna Prema. No, it is his causeless mercy. If he wants, he will give, otherwise he will not give. Okay. So, yeah, causeless means it's not because of some cause. Right, but still the Lord is, when devotees do things which are favorable, which are pleasing to him, etc., he generally gives mercy. Sometimes he even gives mercy where it was not deserved, right? Or he gives excess mercy. So that's up to him. He knows. So he was pleased, and then he replied to the demigods. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I'm certainly most pleased with you." See, so nice. We should also feel that someday Guru and Krishna will certainly be pleased with us. We should behave in that way. We should do things in such a way. A person is liberated by such knowledge, and thus he remembers my exalted position, which is above the conditions of material life. So we have to remember the exalted condition of the Lord, right? Exalted position of the Lord. We can remember his exalted position when we can remember first our fallen position. So that is why we can't be a servant if we continue to want to be a master. If you are constantly trying to remain or be a master, then obviously we can't become a servant. And then instead of remembering Krishna's exalted position, we will keep thinking about our own apparent exalted position. So it's not real, but just wallowing in ourselves, in our own glories. So yeah, that is why Kirtaniya Sadahari, Trinadapi Sunichana. One who is humble can remember Krishna and can always chant his names. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers in full knowledge. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that we have to be some big scholars to offer. These are heartfelt prayers, right? And they should be as per Shastra. So it is why when we hear about the prayers of other exalted devotees, we can also understand in what way they are offering prayers. It's not that we are to offer in that way only. Everybody is an individual and they have their own individuality. And that's a personal relationship between the Lord and his devotee. But we can at least understand. Like, for example, some devotees offer prayers in knowledge, some devotees offer prayers in love, some devotees. Yeah, so like this, there could be different flavors, but all of them are authentic, based on Shastra, based on the Tattva. right? And this is the source of devotional service to me. So Krishna is saying that these prayers is a source of devotional service to me. Glorifying Krishna is a source of devotional service to me. Best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So, see, this is what we have to understand. When we are chanting, we should not be praying for anything else. Anything else, praying for anything else is not high class, right? So, we should just simply pray to be engaged in devotional service and pray for the opportunity to be engaged in devotional service. We should not take it for granted that first is okay. Externally, maybe, with the body and mind, we are engaging in some devotional service. But first thing is we should not take it for granted because Maya is so powerful. So we might just get dragged at any point in time. Number one. Number two, it's still his causeless mercy, Radharani's causeless mercy that she is allowing us to engage in devotional service. So that begging should continue. And more importantly, the begging should be to come to the stage of pure devotion, right? That Anya Bilashita Shunyam, that we don't aspire for anything else and simply serve Krishna for his pleasure, serve Radha and Krishna for their pleasure. So we should pray for this, beg for this. And ultimately, what that means is their personal service in Goloka. That is that is what we are aspiring for. And it's not easy to get that. So we should beg for this. Ask. We should beg because it is his causeless mercy. It is Radharani's causeless mercy. So that has to be our mood while chanting. Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, kripanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Now again, Prabhupada talks about this in the second chapter. So kripana, because they are misusing human form of life. That is why they are kripanas. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. So Krishna is substantiating, Vishnu is substantiating why he doesn't, he will not award also. If somebody wants something which, they're praying for something which is detrimental to their progress, then Krishna is saying if something like that is awarded, that is also foolish. So first of all, asking such things is foolish, which is material assets, etc. That is foolish. And if somebody is bestowed upon if somebody is bestowed with this mercy or with this whatever desire, if it is fulfilled, then whoever fulfills it is also considered foolish. So which is why Krishna doesn't do that. Generally, he does it like Sudama. When he knows that okay, irrespective, even if I give him this money, he's not going to get misled. Right? Only in such cases, Krishna gives. Right? But if somebody is like very excessively attached to material things and they're praying for it, Krishna might not fulfill that desire. Somebody was coming and asking me, saying that, why don't we tell people saying that come to Krishna, your desires will be fulfilled. But I said that's not right. First of all, it's not pure devotion. Second, it's not even philosophically right. Right? Krishna says that okay, sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam raja am tam sarva papebhyo moksheshan. He's saying okay, I will take away all your miseries, but he's not saying he's going to fulfill all your desires, because that misery is because of our unlawful desires. So no guarantee that Krishna is going to fulfill any desires of ours when we come to him. That is totally up to him and up to the jiva and what Krishna thinks is best for that jiva. And so he's saying, yeah, so he knows what needs to be given. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment. Not to speak of helping him in such activities. See, please note this. A pure devotee. A pure devotee, which means we are all aspiring to become this. What should we do? We should not instruct foolish person to engage in material sense enjoyment. If they're doing it out of helplessness or out of, that because they're entangled, then it's okay. We might not immediately discourage them because then that also might create some challenges for them. Definitely, but we should not instruct on, or should we help them? So if we want to help others, we have to be very careful what we are doing to help them. No way we should be helping people to engage in sense enjoyment. Hmm. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. See, very, very important. So this is a compassionate. So this is compassion. This is really desiring somebody's benefit, right? Not that, oh, okay, he wants to enjoy. Okay, see, if I don't support him or if I don't endorse his thought process, then he will just go away from devotion. All this is not the right way to think, because Krishna himself is saying devotee should be like an experienced physician. And what is the characteristic of an experienced physician? He never encourages a patient to eat injurious food, even if the patient desires it. So preachers have to be very, very careful. We are balancing so many things, but at the same time, we should not mislead people. This is misleading. Encouraging them on the path of sense enjoyment or even helping them is misleading. It's not right. So we have to become like experienced physicians. O Maghavan Indra, all good fortune unto you. I advise you to approach the exalted sage Dadhyancha, Dadichi. He has become very accomplished in knowledge, vows, and austerities, and his body is very strong. Go ask him for his body without delay. That saintly Dadhyancha personally assimilated the spiritual science and then delivered it to the Ashwini Kumaras. It is said that Dadhyancha gave them mantras through the head of a horse. Therefore, the mantras are called Ashwashira. After obtaining the mantras of spiritual science from Dadichi, the Ashwini Kumaras became Jivan Mukta, liberated even in this life. So, which means that Dadichi is a very exalted soul. He's a very exalted soul, and along with that, so he has knowledge and he's engaged in vows and austerities, and his body is very strong. So, Vishnu's intention was to use his body, and he is anyway exalted soul, so he's going to be only concerned about the welfare of general people at large. So he's not going to be too worried about giving up his body. Dadichi's invincible protective covering known as the Narayana Kapacha was given to Twasta, who delivered it to his son Vishwarupa, from whom you have received it. So it is Dadichi's protective covering. So he's so exalted that he has created a Kavacha. Because of this Narayana Kavacha, Dadichi's body is now very strong. Should therefore beg him for his body. So, what is the reason for his body being strong? He protected it by Narayana Kavacha. Mm. When the Ashwini Kumaras beg for Dadichi's body on your behalf, he will surely give it because of affection. Do not doubt this, for Dadichi is very experienced in religious understanding. When Dadichi awards you his body, Vishwakarma will prepare a thunderbolt from his bones. This thunderbolt will certainly kill Vrtrasura because it will be invested with my power. See, Vishnu, he's so merciful towards his, servants, the demigods. He's giving step-by-step instruction what needs to be done. No doubt. And he's so merciful. He's saying it's going to be invested with my power. This is the special position of devotees. Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Many times, we are faced with situations where we don't know what needs to be done spiritually also. So we have to just surrender to Krishna and wait for his mercy. And Krishna will guide us either implicitly, explicitly, whatever. He will take control of the situation provided we are surrendered. So we should just depend on him and do whatever is coming to our intelligence. But even if it is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Krishna will take care. At the end, Krishna will take care. Because Krishna protects. Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso. Krishna protects his surrendered devotees. So we might not be as fortunate as these demigods where they're getting line by line instruction from Vishnu as to what needs to be done and how they're going to be protected or how their welfare will happen. We might not be so exalted, right? But Krishna is taking care of this anyway in the background. Whether we know it, whether we understand it, doesn't matter. And this is the faith that demigods go to Vishnu with, saying that they know that, okay, he is there, he will protect us. Do whatever is required for doing our, carrying out our responsibilities towards him, towards his creation. When Vrtrasura is killed because of my spiritual strength, because that the thunderbolt will be invested with Vishnu's power. So Vishnu is saying, you will regain your strength, weapons, and wealth. Thus, there will be all good fortune for all of you. Although Vrtrasura can destroy all the three worlds, do not fear that he will harm you. He is also devotee and will never be envious of you. See, very, very powerful statement. Vrtrasura appeared as he is Asura, okay, but he is a devotee and he is not a typical Asura. He is not envious. Envy is the characteristic of Asuras, right? Dambodarpo Tatha Vimana. So, in the 16th chapter, Krishna is describing, Bhagavad Gita is describing the qualities of the demoniac. And one of the qualities of demoniac is to be envious. So Vrtrasura was not envious, so which means that he was not a demon. Just like due to force of situations, Vishnu wanted him to be born as a Asura to prove certain things, to show the world certain things, to glorify Vrtrasura, to glorify devotion. So he was not an Asura. It was like Prahlad Maharaj being born, from Hiranyakashipu. It's like that. So, so he's also a devotee and will never be envious of you. Never be envious. See, this is how much faith is there. Like Krishna knows his devotees that they will never be envious, irrespective. Put them in whatever situation, they will never be envious. And for all of us practicing devotees, we will have situations in our life testing us, on various aspects of our devotional behavior, of our Vaishnava behavior. Situations will arise, and we have to see how we are dealing with those situations. And those should be practical applications of all these classes, theories that we hear every day. And it is day in and day out. It's not like it is only some special situations. No, whether they seem to appear as material situations or spiritual situations, it is a test for our progress, of our progress. So how much we have progressed, how much of these qualities we have imbibed. So it's a barometer, like it measures, it shows us where we stand, and we need to see. Yeah, we don't need to be discouraged if we are not performing so well. We should understand our fallen state. We should beg for mercy, and we should keep trying and have the faith that the process is so powerful. Krishna is a Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Deenabandhu. So he is very, very merciful to the fallen. And so he will take care. He will help us. If we are dependent on him, he will help us. So, yeah, so Vishnu himself is glorifying Vrtrasura's devotion here. Okay, so then we move on to the 10th chapter. So then there's a battle, and there's some very nice conversation that happens between Indra and Vrtrasura. Very instructive. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, after instructing Indra in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, then and there disappeared from the presence of the onlooking demigods. O King Parikshit, following the Lord's instructions, the demigods approached the Dichi, the son of Atharva. He was very liberal, and when they begged him to give them his body, he at once partially agreed. However, just to hear religious instructions from them, he smiled and jokingly spoke as follows. He was testing them. O elevated demigods, at the time of death, severe, unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Don't you know about this pain? Of course, this pain is the pain of attachment to this material world. Don't you know about this pain? In this material world, every living entity is very much addicted to his material body. See, this addiction, very, very powerful word. Addiction, we are addicted to our material body. We are addicted to keep the material body intact. You know, we can't live with the material body non-functional. We get so disturbed when our body is troubling us. That is all because of our attachment. And here, Shukadev Goswami is saying that people are addicted to their material body. Forget about simple attachment, addiction, beyond control. Struggling to keep his body forever. See, this is our disease, is to try to keep the body forever. Everyone tries to protect it by all means, even at the sacrifice of all his possessions. Simple thing, right? If somebody has to be hospitalized, pretty much it's like sacrifice of possessions, right? But still, everyone tries to protect it by all means. Therefore, who would be prepared to deliver his body to anyone, even if it were demanded by Lord Vishnu? So the Dadichi is, us that Vishnu said this, so he's like directly putting them into a very difficult situation. Saying the body is so dear, who will deliver it? Okay, even if Vishnu demands it, who will deliver it? Because the body is so dear to living entities. Demigods replied, O exalted Brahmana, pious persons like you, whose activities are praiseworthy, are very kind and affectionate to people in general. These are also the qualities of Vaishnavas. Right? Very kind and affectionate. What can't such pious souls give for the benefit of others? They can give everything, including their bodies. And this should be true in the case of Vaishnavas, right? We should be ready to give ourselves in the service of in the welfare of humanity, which is what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Right? And welfare means giving spiritual knowledge, nothing else. Those who are too self-interested beg something from others, not knowing of others' pain. When somebody is begging something from others, they don't know about the pain of giving, if there is some pain. And because they're so self-interested, they just beg. But if the beggar knew the difficulty of the giver, he would not ask for anything. Suppose somebody is begging for somebody for 10 rupees, and maybe that person who is being begged, he doesn't have 10 rupees in his own pocket, right? So suppose, see, this person who is begging knows the position of that other person, that he also is in difficulty, then he would never beg. He would not ask. Similarly, he who is able to give charity does not know the beggar's difficulty. For other ways, he would not refuse to give the beggar anything he might want as charity. So people also, they don't want to give charity because they don't understand. They don't know the beggar's difficulty. So both, so the beggar doesn't know the giver's pain. The giver doesn't know the beggar's pain. So this is what the demigods are saying. Meaning, see, we are asking you, we don't know your pain, but you are the giver and you don't know what is our pain. So both ways, it's good to just follow instructions of superiors. Right? So that's in some sense what demigods are saying, that yes, we can't directly answer your argument about how dear the body is to one, but this pain is mutual. And you are a great soul. Right? So please understand our pain. And because you are a great soul, so you should benefit us. The great sage Dadichi said, just to hear from you about religious principles, I refuse to offer my body at your request. Now, although my body is extremely dear to me, I must give it up for your better purposes, since I know that it will leave me today or tomorrow. See, very nicely. When he's saying, although my body is extremely dear to me, not materially, but because it's a vehicle. So he's saying, but I must give it up for your better purposes, meaning your purposes are better than mine. So And since I know that this anyway, this body will leave me today or tomorrow. So use it for better purpose. So we should use our body for a better purpose than just self-centered, sense gratificatory life. Right? That's the lesson here. Oh, demigods, one who has no compassion for humanity in its suffering and does not sacrifice his impermanent body for the higher causes of religious principles or eternal glory is certainly pitied even by the immovable beings. Hmm. So one who does not have compassion for humanity, who does not want to sacrifice his impermanent body or even possessions for that matter, for higher religious principles, he is certainly pitied. Hmm. Yesterday I was reading one something, so it's something called Patropadesh, which are like letter, uh, instructions through letters, like which is actually his original Bhakti Vikas Maharaj book. So I was reading, and there's one incident, one letter where it's about like Maharaj is maybe telling somebody to give some land that they possess for some preaching activity or whatever, and that devotee refuses, and he says, "See, my very my material condition is not very good. It's not good, so that I can't, I won't be able to give it, etc." And then Maharaj actually writes in that letter saying that actually I believe that you are earning so many lakhs per month and you have so many sites in your possession. So it doesn't look like it is very difficult for you to give this. And you're refusing the, instructions of Guru, which will be considered very low class by other people. He's not being offended. He's not saying that, this is Guru Avagya. He's saying, people might not consider this right for you. You've been a devotee for so long, and you're refusing to accept your guru's instructions indirectly, right? So, like this, we it should not. I mean, all the whatever is there is has to be offered in the service of Guru and Krishna. We should not hesitate even for a moment. See, we should understand if we are fortunate enough for our Guru to sit in front of us or to instruct us to do something, even if it means giving up our life. It's possibly the most beneficial thing for us. And of course, Guru will never ask us to do anything like that. But we should be at least, we should be ready to take inconvenience towards this body, right? So this body is a vehicle; it has to be used, right? So yeah, maybe there's some inconvenience in doing some preaching, in doing some, activity. But if we refuse to offer our body in service, then what is the use of our existence? So our body, our possessions, we have to use it in Krishna's service, in Guru's service. Mm. And so we have to use everything that we have for better purposes. If one is unhappy to see the distress of other living beings and happy to see their happiness, his religious principles are appreciated as imperishable by exalted persons who are considered pious and benevolent. So it's great, right? Paradukha dukhi. Right? Vaishnava is a paradukha dukhi. When he sees others unhappy, he feels the distress. Literally feeling the distress. Can you like imagine? Right? Feeling the distress. Right? How much compassion Vaishnava should have and when he sees and feels the distress of others. Feeling the distress means it's as good as the pain is happening to me. And when somebody can experience that kind of pain of, when by seeing others distress, he will react just like he would react if the pain was actually his. Meaning, if the problem had come to him, the way he would have taken shelter of Krishna or whatever, right? So that same feeling will come. Oh, I would have taken shelter of Krishna, but this jiva, unfortunately, is not come to Krishna, is not a devotee of Krishna. So I have to help him. I have to bring him to devotion. This is the compassion of pure Vaishnavas. This body, which is eatable by jackals and dogs after death, does not actually do any good for me, the spirit soul. So Dadichi is saying that in one sense he is also advising demigods because they are afraid that they're going to be killed or Vrtrasura is going to destroy them. In some sense, Dadichi is also telling them, why are you attached to your body? It's of no use. This body is going to be eaten by jackals and dogs. It is usable only for a short time and may perish at any moment. The body and its possessions, its riches and relatives must all be engaged for the benefit of others, or else they will be sources of tribulation and misery. See, please note this. That it is saying if you don't use your body, possessions, riches, relatives, everything for the benefit of others, in our case for Krishna consciousness, they will be sources of tribulation and misery. Which means that material things, we get attached to them, then we suffer. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Dadichi Muni, the son of Atharva, thus resolved to give his body to the service of the demigods. He placed himself, the spirit soul, at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, meaning he just focused himself on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And in this way, gave up his gross material body made of 5 elements. Of course, it's not described how, but possibly he was a yogi, he could just raise his, the prana and then just give up his body or whatever. He just gave it up. Yeah, they're saying how. He controlled his senses, life force, mind, and intelligence and became absorbed in trance. Thus, he cut all his material bonds. He could not perceive how his material body became separated from his self. He couldn't perceive. He basically gave up his body. Thereafter, King Indra very firmly took up the thunderbolt manufactured by Vishwakarma from the bones of Dadichi. Charged with the exalted power of Dadichi Muni and enlightened by the power of the Supreme Lord, Indra rode on the back of his carrier, Airavata, surrounded by all the demigods, while all the great sages offered him praise. Thus he shone very beautifully, pleasing the 3 worlds as he rode off to kill Vrtrasura. But just see the position of Indra. I mean, he is so afraid, and now, by taking, following Vishnu's instructions, of course, taking Dadichi's body, manufactured thunderbolt by Vishwakarma, he took that, and now he is riding confidently. Because he was charged with this power of Dadichi and enlightened by the power of the Supreme Lord. My dear King Parikshit, as Rudra, being very angry at Antaka, Yamaraja, had formerly run toward Antaka to kill him, Indra angrily and with great force attacked Vrtrasura, was surrounded by the leaders of the demoniac armies. I don't think it's mentioned what this incident was. No. Maybe we should read other previous acharyas to see what was this incident. Thereafter, at the end of Satyuga and the beginning of Treta, a fierce battle took place between the demigods and the demons on the bank of the Narmada. O king, when all the asuras came onto the battlefield headed by Vrtrasura, they saw King Indra carrying the thunderbolt and surrounded by Rudras, Vasus, Adityas, Ashwini Kumaras, Pitas, Vahnis, Maruts, Rubhus, Sadhyas, and Vishwadevas. Surrounded by his company, Indra shone so brightly that his effulgence was intolerable to the demons. Many hundreds and thousands of demons, demidemons, yakshas, rakshasas, and others, headed by Sumali and Mali, resisted the armies of King Indra, which even death personified cannot easily overcome. Among the demons were Namuchi, Shambara, Anarva, Dvimurdha, Rishabha, Asura, Hayagriva, Shankushira, Viprachiti, Ayomukha, Puloma, Vrishaparva, Praheti, Heti, Utkala. Roaring tumultuously and fearlessly like lions, these invincible demons, all dressed in golden ornaments, gave pain to the demigods with weapons like clubs, bludgeons, arrows, barbed darts, mallets, and lances. Armed with lances, tridents, axes, swords, and other weapons like shatagnis and bhushundis, the demons attacked from different directions and scattered all the chiefs of the demigod armies. As the stars in the sky cannot be seen when covered by dense clouds, the demigods, being completely covered by networks of arrows falling upon them, one after another, could not be seen. The showers of various weapons and arrows released to kill the soldiers of the demigods did not reach them because the demigods, acting quickly, cut the weapons into thousands of pieces in the sky. As their weapons and mantras decreased, the demons began showering mountain peaks, trees, stones upon the demigod soldiers. But the demigods were so powerful and expert that they nullified all these weapons by breaking them to pieces in the sky as before. When the soldiers of the demons, commanded by Vrtrasura, saw that the soldiers of King Indra were quite well, having not been injured at all by their volleys of weapons, not even by the trees, stones, and mountain peaks, The demons were very much afraid. When insignificant persons use rough words to cast false, angry accusations against saintly persons, their fruitless words do not disturb the great personalities. See, somebody says something, should not bother. If we want to become a devotee, then we should not be disturbed by those words. Similarly, all the efforts of the demons against the demigods who are favorably situated under the protection of Krishna were futile. The asuras, who are now never devotees of Lord Krishna, lost their pride in fighting when they found all their endeavors futile. So they came into the battle very proud. We are so powerful. Now nothing is happening to the opposition, so they lost their pride. Leaving aside their leader, even in the very beginning of the fight, they decided to flee because all their prowess had been taken away by the enemy. Seeing his army broken and all the asuras, even those known as great heroes, fleeing the battlefield out of intense fear, Vrtrasura, who was truly a great-minded hero, smiled. He was not frustrated. He smiled and spoke the following words. According to his position in the time and circumstances, Vrtrasura, the hero among heroes, spoke words that were much to be appreciated by thoughtful men. He called to the heroes of the demons, O Viprachiti, O Namuchi, O Puloma, O Maya, Anarva, Shambara, please hear me, do not flee. Vrtrasura said, all living entities who have taken birth in this material world must die. Surely no one in this world has found any means to be saved from death. Even Providence has not provided a means to escape it. Under the circumstances, death being inevitable, if one can gain promotion to the higher planetary systems and be always celebrated here by dying a suitable death, what man will not accept such a glorious death? So because he is talking to these sense gratifiers, so he is telling, death is inevitable. Why don't you use it to gain promotion to higher planetary systems? And you should also be celebrated here for dying a suitable death. And so glorious. Why would any person not accept such a glorious death? And see, look at this. There are two ways to meet a glorious death, and both are very rare. One is to die after performing mystic yoga, especially bhakti yoga, by which one can control the mind and living force and die absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Lord. This is the first process. Second is to die on the battlefield, leading the army and never showing one's back. These two kinds of death are recommended in the Shastra as glorious. Of course, this has to be a dharma yuddha. But then it is even more glorious. But a Kshatriya has to fight. Righteous fight. So anyway, so he is saying here, important thing is this. One who can die controlling his mind, living force, die absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Lord. This is the most glorious death. So Asura means generally materially attached, bodily attached, sense gratification. But we can see by his words, it's completely detached to his body. And not frustrated at all. As a great hero, he's not frustrated, he's smiling. Why are you running away? Body is going to anyway die, get destroyed today or tomorrow. So these things we have to read again and again, so that we can understand in what mood we have to live. Sometimes we are okay when things are fine. When everything is going fine, we are okay. I mean, we're not like so worked up, right? Yeah, things are going fine. Then we might be in spiritual consciousness. When things get shaky, is the real test for us. That's when we are actually being tested. Our mettle is being tested. So we have to prepare ourselves for difficult situations in life. Because if there are no difficult situations, we are not going to be tested. We don't know really where we stand. See, it's one thing to just look at another person and say, oh yeah, you know what, why? Everybody has problems. When there are problems, we should tolerate. Yeah, we can advise others. But when the problem comes to us, when the real test. And there will be different kinds of problems based on different kinds of attachments that we have. So we should understand. It's like How children learn cycling. It's just like that. The parents, father behind the child, saying, "Don't worry, be brave. Lift both your hands, both your legs from the floor. Pedal. I'm here." Right? And if the child is about to fall, the father will hold him. So like that, Krishna is so anxious to qualify us to go back to the spiritual world. So he wants to train us. He wants to make sure that we are properly ready. So he will help us by putting us through difficulties, tests, just to help us understand where we stand. Maybe certain things will make us more serious in devotion. Certain situations will make us more serious in devotion. And that will help us make progress. So Krishna is just there to help us. So we have to understand this. So we should not shy away from problems, difficulties. We should have faith in Krishna and deal with it, with the heart of Vrtrasura. Such a beautiful, just imagine, just like dealing with your life problems with a smile, saying, yes, this is one more learning, this is one more learning. And then life will be so, you know, bright and happy because every test that we pass, we are one more step closer to Krishna. Even if we fail, we know what we need to work on to make progress. Either way, it's good for us. So there's no need to feel down, to be affected by our material problems. And sometimes, I mean, they won't just go. If problems just simply come and go, then we are great. Yeah, I tolerated it for 2 days. But if it is 20 days, 2 months, 20 months, 2 years, then we are getting tested, like seriously tested. Right? And as we make progress, we understand, yes, okay, still there is work. Still I need to do work. Still I need to work on myself. So it's okay. It's okay. We'll stop here. If there are any questions, comments. No questions, comments. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mm, Yes.
So, quick question. So, I mean, yeah, so out of this entire episode, definitely I see Dadichi's, his sacrifice looks like the ultimate, of all
Mm.
the things that happened in this episode. So, but what is the fate of Dadichi, Prabhu? I mean, after giving up his body, I mean,
No, he is a
out of all
spiritually.
the pastimes I've heard so far, I've never seen anyone
Mhm.
giving up the body. Yeah, I mean, people can give good instructions, bad instructions, whatever, but this looks like, giving up the body completely is like, I don't know,
Yeah, I
a
mean,
completely
Parikshit also
different
gave up his
level.
body. Parikshit also gave up his body,
Yeah,
right?
but
I
he
mean,
was aware, Prabhu, because he was aware, he accepted the fate, but he did not give it up immediately, at least, but Dadichi, he's kind of, okay, someone came out of a blue, he asked, and then he just gave it up like that.
yeah, I mean, Parikshit Maharaj also was Parikshit Maharaj would have given up immediately if the situation was immediate. See, it's
Yeah.
not just
Okay.
his 7 days was what? Because Krishna gave him 7 days because he wanted to
Hmm.
hear and, bring this Bhagavatam to the whole world, right? But look at
Hmm.
Parikshit's reaction, right? When that happened,
Hmm.
he
Yeah,
said,
yeah, he's
let
not
Krishna take
little
away
attached.
everything right now.
Correct, correct. Yes,
He
yes.
was ready.
Okay.
I mean, if something had to happen at that point of time, he
Hmm.
was ready. And this is the quality of exalted souls, that they're not
Hmm.
attached to their body. They're just not attached. And what is their fate based on what process they've been following? If Dadichi, we don't have much information about what was Dadichi's spiritual standing, but it was very clear that he is a spiritually elevated person, right? So wherever
Yes.
he had to go would have been an exalted destination, whatever it was, right? I don't know exactly what it was because it's not mentioned anywhere here. But that's not important. The important thing is that he was spiritually advanced and he was not attached to his body, which is the
Hmm.
basic. See, what has to strike us is saying that this is that basic foundational Brahmabhuta stage. Very basic Brahmabhuta. When somebody comes to this Brahmabhuta stage, they're not just like we discussed, no, even in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. No, don't care without cares,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you just know that, okay, this body is going to go today or tomorrow. It's fine. Like, yeah, if it has to go today, then it means that, okay, now I have very little time. Can I just focus, like, forget about everything, lock myself out of all nonsense, and just like Parikshit Maharaj did, right? Can I just sit and focus on Krishna? Because now, one thing, happy is that, see, I don't have to go through all now. I don't know what else was in store for me in this life. Now Krishna has so mercifully taken everything. Now this is the time for me to just focus on Krishna,
Mm.
right? Because see,
Right.
after all, point is, after all, after, okay, we might live for another 50 years, whatever that is, at the end of the day, this is going to happen like that only, right? One day we have to give up this body, and it's not that we, even if somebody, okay, might say, okay, somebody is old, blah, but still nobody knows, right? Whether it's tomorrow or day after tomorrow or 10 years later, that is going to be sudden. That thing is going to
Mm.
be sudden anyway. So it's better we embrace it, right? With looking at ourselves on the other side after that incident called death, and seeing ourselves with Krishna, is how we should actually live life, right? Which is why, if you are so much eager to go to Krishna and you say, oh, okay, tomorrow the flight is coming, great, I'm ready to go. So then we won't feel the pain. It's tough, but I'm saying that we have to see, which is why, that most important thing is forget about all this, right? These things can be scary, right? But the important thing to note is where we are headed. If we can just think about that happy situation when I'm with Krishna and Krishna is embracing me, right? Like Gopakumara, or seeing ourselves in front of Radha and Krishna, and in Goloka, what else do we want? What else do we want? If that can be tomorrow, then yes, Krishna's mercy, right? But that it's not the pain of death that we should be concerned about. It's not the pain of leaving everything that we should be concerned about. It's the pleasure or the happiness, unbounded happiness that Jiva is going to experience when he reaches Radha and Krishna. That should be in the forefront of our mind.
So,
Then
so
these things
Prabhu,
will
I
not
mean,
become major. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm also hearing, in several times that, yeah, so because devotees, they don't even endeavor to go back to Goloka or Vrindavan.
Not like that.
They
Not like that. They
they
want to,
never, or
but they are
like they.
saying they're
Uh,
saying it's okay. If Krishna wants me to come back here, I'm fine. But
so
it's not
wherever
that.
they are, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, what I understood is, wherever they are, doesn't matter
mm,
they are in
No, no, no.
Satyaloka or
It's not.
Pataloka, so they
It's not
still
that.
want to be associated or devotee of Krishna. I mean, is
mm,
that the
No.
right
See, I'll tell you
mindset of?
what this is.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. See, wherever you are in the spiritual, in the material world, material body puts its own restrictions on how much transcendental pressures and transcendental, how much you can associate with Krishna,
yeah.
right? So pure devotees, they know the pleasure of, serving Krishna in Goloka. They want it, but they not at the expense of what Krishna desires. This is their greatness, right? So they're saying, obviously, I'll be most happy if I can go to Goloka and serve Krishna there, because Radha and Krishna are always happy there, right? And I will can be instrumental in, in their happiness. That's the ultimate. But yeah, if Krishna wants me to come here, I'm fine. I'm happy to do that too. Mm. So it's not that they don't want to be there. It's like, Prabhupada, we heard that, right?
Yeah,
Prabhupada,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Krishna, I
I
don't
heard.
want to go there. I don't
Yes.
want to go there. I don't want to be away from you even for a moment.
Mm.
But yeah, okay, Krishna, if you want, I'm ready to go. That's the mood. That's the mood. I mean, obviously, see, devotees who experience that, even our acharyas, right? Like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, all of them, right? They're saying, singing, oh Radha, oh Krishna, oh Lalita, Vishaka, where are you? And that pain of not being, of losing, of not seeing, not being in association of, Radha, Krishna, and all these. great, devotees, is very, very painful. And a pure devotee actually doesn't really, it's not the best thing to happen, right? So, but they're okay. They're okay. As in, it's fine. Krishna, if you want me to come back here, I'm ready to do that. Right? See, even for example, just see Srila Prabhupada's life, right? So much externally, how many problems he had to go through, right? Externally, right? And even see, and general path also will be such that that Krishna has his own plans, right? As to how that devotee will become, will do his devotion in this life, how or what his service is. So it might be that for some years, actually, we are not in touch with Krishna at all, in the sense, in the way we would be otherwise if we are in Goloka. So it's not like the best thing, but for Krishna's pleasure, anything is fine. That's their ultimate, right? But they will be very happy to be in Goloka. All great souls, all our acharyas, they want to be with Radha and Krishna. They want to serve them, but they are happy to do service here also. It's not that this is more like, no, 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 I will be here only because I want to do service. No, not that also. Not even that. Not saying that, I want to be here because, I have service here. No, no, then that's not attachment to Radha and Krishna. That's attachment to service. Right? In the sense, see, they want to be with Radha and Krishna all the time. And if Radha and Krishna want them to be here, they're happy about doing that. And we know Prabhupada, not, I was not really happy, but yeah, Krishna wanted, so I had to come. Like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll close. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.